Hello, CCL Sports Cards fans. Welcome back. It is so exciting to be talking hockey a little more often these days because, in all honesty, I think it is an underserved market, to that effect, underpriced, and a great place to go treasure hunting. Today, I'm going to talk about an NHL superstar whose cards are underappreciated and have a lot more room to run in the months and even the years ahead. But before we get to that, I have a favor to ask. Support my Drive to 5. Yes, folks, our goal here at CCL Sports Cards is to hit 500 subscribers in the next 6 weeks. There has been so much positive feedback. Shout out to subscribers Jeff Sanders, Jay Harris, and Double Barrel Sports Cards, who just this past weekend edified this show and channel, heaping praise on the content. I could not be more grateful to all of you. And as you all know, I read and respond to each and every comment as a thank you for your time. So thank you very much. And with that, let's rock and roll and drop the puck and talk about NHL superstar Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche. Shout out to subscriber Ryan Sadler for sharing his sentiments on the above player and prompting me to include him in this edition of Let's Talk. Mikko was the 10th overall pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft and probably would have gone higher if it wasn't for superstars Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel, and channel fave Mitch Marner, taking up 3 of the top 4 spots. Geez, what a great draft year. Timo, Barzal, crazy good. But back to Mikko. Taken in the draft at just 18 years of age, the Finnish winger has the benefit of starting in the NHL at a very, very young age. What that means is tons of time to keep piling up goals, points, and accolades for his hockey resume. Now, Mikko did not explode onto the scene with 40 goals in his debut season like superstar Maple Leaf Austin Matthews, and actually had a pretty lackluster start to his NHL career, having appeared in only 9 games with no points and a -7 to show for all his hard work, before being sent back to San Antonio to develop. And develop he did. He amassed 60 points that season, leading all AHL rookies. And y'all know how much I love someone who suffers a setback and then comes back and absolutely crushes it. In 2016, the very next season, he came right back to Colorado, perhaps with a bit more confidence following his wonderful stint in the AHL. And while his 20 goals won't make anyone blush, he did lead the Avs in goals in the 2016 campaign, and they were not a very good team to say the least. Since then, it has been nothing but blue skies for the young Rantanen, averaging a point per game over his short career with 400 points, 164 of them goals in 400 games with a plus-minus of 40. And this, folks, is where his greatness is hiding, in my opinion, and why his cards remain a bargain. In his first 84 games in the NHL, he only notched 38 points and had an abysmal -25. If you remove those 84 games and just look at his past 5 seasons, which is ultimately the player that Mikko really is, he has 360 points in just 315 games with a plus-minus of 73. That's 1.14 points per game. That is just behind other channel fave, Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, who has 1.17 points per game, when you back out his initial season as well, to make it a more comprehensive, balanced comparison. Keep in mind, while these figures are accurate, they will fluctuate as games get played and points are put up. But what is important is Mikko's real stats. I think a lot of collectors and investors will look at a player's career totals and move along, seeing him as a good player who puts up literally a point per game, but not dig in and see what the real story is. I'll summarize this way. Let's say Mikko plays for another 10 years. Quick math would have him around age 35-36, which is not much older than Steven Stamkos, and one could argue that you would see a decline in Mikko's production along the way, but there hasn't been one for Stamkos. And if anything, Mikko's production is rising, netting 30 goals in 3 of the last 4 seasons, and it would have been 4 if COVID hadn't shut the whole league down. This year, he already has 35 goals, and I'll bet he has his first 40-goal season when all is said and done. In 10 years' time, Mikko would have 945 games played with 1,077 points. That is impressive, and would surely have Mikko in contention to enter the Hockey Hall of Fame when he hangs up his skates. Mikko's 2015 Upper Deck Young Guns card in PSA 10 can be picked up for a paltry $260, and has routinely sold around this price point over the last month, making it a great value when you consider NHL superstar Leon Draisaitl's comparable Young Guns card sells routinely for 5 to 6 times. For you collectors and investors who prefer a little more of a premium card, and with some ink, you can probably pick up his 2015 SP Authentic Future Watch in PSA 10 for around $1,600, slightly less than superstar Mitch Marner, and light years lower than Leon Draisaitl's comparable Future Watch card. Yes, I think Mikko Rantanen's cards are underpriced, and should they win a cup in the short term, which is not that far-fetched when you think about it, the Avs sit first in the Central with a breathtaking 50 wins and only 14 losses. The value of his cards could march much higher in the short term, and a cup or two would look mighty good on Mikko's resume. Thank you all so much for watching. It sure is fun to come out here and share my thoughts on hockey cards and how to potentially profit from them over time. Do keep in mind these thoughts and opinions are only my own and should be taken as such. Happy Wednesday, all.